Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm excited to have all you on the show. As you can see in the thumbnail, it's me and Ellis. We're back, and it's a Q&A today. We're going to be taking some questions. Yes, there's some She-Hulk stuff you guys ask questions about. There's Marvel stuff. There's Star Wars stuff. There's Schmoes stuff. There's a whole bunch of it. And if you're brand new to the channel and you haven't been here before, and this is your first time, do me a favor, subscribe. Hit that notification button. We got a spoiler review with Ellis and I coming out soon for Top Gun, probably Saturday coming up. So make sure you do that. Check that out. And if you haven't subscribed, then please do it. And make sure also that you're also on, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that podcasts are found. You can get Sith Council, you get Big Thing, all in the Big Thing podcast feed. So make sure you do that. Check it out. But it's myself, it's Ellis. We're doing a show. That's what we do. All right, everybody, let's do it. Uh-oh, we're going to get a Maverick thing. I know we are.
You told me your title.
Perfect. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, here, because I have to tell you, here we go. Rockin' body, pretty
engineering
face,
talent of Christian Harloff is unmatched in the modern era.
I want you to guess.
White birth can help but love her. She's the salt of the earth. Now I wasn't expecting a full-fledged passion assault.
All right. So
I just heard something.
Now, was that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you need to hear it again, you can hear it again. But was that?
Does this? So I'll put on.
Oh, you didn't hear it.
I could kind of hear it.
All right,
I could
I
hear
want
it
you to
enough.
hear. I'll give you a shot.
Didn't realize it was going to be a quiz.
Okay. Yeah, here, because I have to tell you, here we go. Rockin' body, pretty face, attitude bigger than the San Andreas. It's troubling.
Okay.
Love
So
it.
was that A,
Josh Robert Thompson.
Josh Robert Thompson?
Yes.
B, me?
Josh Robert Thompson.
C, Arnold? Or D, Will Sasso?
That was Josh Robert
That
Thompson.
is incorrect.
Really?
Yeah.
That's Sasso?
That is incorrect.
That's you?
That is incorrect.
That's actually Arnold.
It's actually Arnold.
Wow.
Nobody gets it right.
That's
and it's
great.
hilarious. It's from that movie Killing Gunther. This has been an ongoing bit for the last week on this show.
Did Taron Killam direct it?
Yes. And,
Yeah.
and apparently, because I got sent this from a fan, and I thought it was like him just doing karaoke years ago.
Right.
And I was like, this is amazing. And then it turned out that it's actually actually him from this movie. But the other thing I found, and I can't see anything anymore, but I found something else that I want to see if you can guess what this is from. Where the hell is it?
This is all we do now.
here
Is
it
I
is.
just come over
And
when
I
I'm
play-
free, when
yeah.
I'm in the neighborhood, and Christian just
I
bothers
just play
me with
stuff. Here's another one.
tests.
Put this on because I want to see if you know what this is.
Right.
And I want to see if you can guess this one. This one I have not played. This is the first time playing this.
Ooh.
There we go. It's a long intro.
I feel like I'm in a vacation movie.
Budweiser, you created a monster, and they call him Frankenstein. And the tavern down the street is the laboratory where he makes the transformation all the time. And a shine of Dr. Bud is a pint of monster blood, and it does affect me different every time.
You know, every time I'm about to rush to your defense when your family is like, you don't really work all day, Christian. I'm like, no, the guy really busts his ass. I come in here
5 years.
and you play stuff like that, and I just want to go tell Sadie, hey, you need to get him back in the house.
Yeah.
He's lost in his own devices out there in his little mad scientist lab.
So nothing?
What is it?
Who do you got? Who do you think that sounds
I
like?
have no idea.
It's Stallone.
Is it really?
It's still from Rhinestone.
From Rhinestone. Okay.
There's
All right.
two songs. There's two songs that there's a couple of them, but there's two of note. And this Budweiser. It's like a bad Joe Cocker.
Never seen it. I just remember always seeing the video jacket for Rhinestone.
That's
And like,
terrible.
you know, I'm a kid. I want to see a cool action movie. I'm like, I've seen the Rambos. I've seen Demolition Man. What's another cool Stallone movie? And
Rhinestone.
Nah, it does. It's something looked. I was like, nah, I don't think this is.
How about Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?
Never saw it, but I
No.
do
You know
love
that
Estelle Getty.
You know that story behind that, right?
Yes, because Schwarzenegger had done a comedy, right? And so he was trying to one up Arnold.
Kind of. So this was in the height of their feud when they were going back.
Right.
Now they're good
Oh,
friends.
no. Yeah. Somebody told him or his people. Arnold let him know that, like, hey, let him think that I'm up for the part.
Tell him I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Tell him I'm going to do it. And I had no intention of doing this movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
And then he had him do it, and then it just was a total.
If I put you in a theater right now, I'm just gonna let you go to the movies, and you can see any new film with either Stallone in his prime or Arnold in his prime. Are you going into the Arnold theater?
What do you mean? Like one of their old movies?
No. It's a new movie, but it's like them from the '80s. Like, Apex Arnold has this new mystery movie that never came out. So
basically, like when Tupac comes out with a tape every year. Yeah. Like if there was one that came out, like whether it was
just pretend like the studio forgot it.
87 Arnold or like 85 Stallone.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Man. That's tough.
I love Sly, but I gotta go.
I'm probably going Arnie because Stallone had. Look, his franchise movies when they came out were fantastic, but he relied on the franchise movies. Those were the big ones and then you would get Cliffhanger like earlier in the '90s and things too. Yeah. But Arnie was coming out with Commando and Total Recall and Terminator and
Predator.
Predator.
Imagine if that's the movie.
I think that because Arnold didn't start going downhill his movies until like 96. 95, 96.
It was a very slow kind of tapering off.
Yeah.
Where it was because like True Lies was such a massive hit, and then the next year he had Eraser, which was like a big hit. And then he had like The Sixth Day, I think, and then maybe like you start to see like a little bit of diminishing returns at the box office.
Even Eraser wasn't that good though.
It wasn't that good, but it still made a lot of money.
Yeah, he was still like, oh, he still got it.
Yeah, right.
And
I think True Lies, and not just him. True Lies did a lot for a lot of careers. Tom Arnold got like 9 movies because he is just that great.
He's really good in that movie. And Stallone was actually hurting. What people don't realize is how bad he was hurt after Rocky V. And Stop or Mom will shoot, but Rocky V was, and he said it. He was in a very cocky, arrogant place when he made that movie, and his decisions, and that's what I love about Stallone. Unlike a lot of like executives and stuff too, who just can't admit. Like when you look at all this stuff recently, that Vanity Fair article with like Kathleen Kennedy when she talked about blaming Alden Ehrenreich for Solo's failure. Right.
I didn't see any of that.
She
but
pretty much just threw the kid under the bus, and I don't think he was the best Solo, but he certainly wasn't the whole reason. I think it was a good performance. Just wasn't.
I thought he's great in the movie.
Yeah, right.
And he's good enough to be like a young Han Solo. But that's also I think that's more in the view than anybody else. It's like, hey, 100%. If you want to come into this movie. Spoiler alert, Harrison Ford is not young anymore. Right. So if you want to like this movie, you're going to have to Jedi mind trick yourself into thinking that this is young Han Solo. And if you do that, I think you'll have a great time.
I think so. I think if you see that, but I also think that it's not that easy because there are
you want to have some mannerisms.
Yeah, there are just certain things about the character, and a lot of people responded to it. I think he did a great job. I just don't think he was Han Solo. I think he did a great job playing some other character, which is fine. But the point is, Stallone took the I shouldn't have done a lot of things I did in Rocky V. Bad decisions.
Yeah,
bad
he's
choices.
very open about it.
He is, and that's why I think he's kind of had a resurgence. That new show he's got coming out with him as a gangster I think it's Paramount Plus, which Paramount Plus right now killing it.
Yeah, and imagine if they had the ball in their court to release Top Gun Maverick during the height of the pandemic, which they absolutely could have if Tom Cruise had okayed it. They would have made a killing on that movie.
I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Yeah. I know, because the movie's so great to see on the big screen. Yeah. But imagine, because you and me, like the way that we feel about Top Gun Maverick, I think the way a lot of people are going to feel about Top Gun Maverick is you're not just paying $30 to watch that movie once.
No, you're going to watch it a bunch of times. That's why, but that's why they get the best of both worlds now, because all the stuff Taylor Sheridan's doing with Yellowstone and all the spin-offs with that and everything else, that Star Trek show, they're starting to do a lot. And now when they put that movie out on streaming after it comes out in the theater,
I'm watching it
100%. And this Offer show, this is the one on Rotten Tomatoes. What Rotten Tomatoes is wrong. That if you guys ever cover it, That's on
The
Rotten
Offer, and is Miles Teller, and it's about the making of The Godfather.
Miles Teller, Dan Fogler, Matthew Good.
Your boy, Dan Fogler.
So Dan Fogler, and you know, I've interviewed him.
I know.
A bunch of times,
He won you over,
and he 100% he did. I liked him in Fantastic Beasts and a lot of the other things that he's done. That was, I think, Take Me Home Tonight was the one from years ago. But I
actually liked him in that. I got to go back and watch that review. I think that might have been another one where you're like, we should never let Ellis and McCougar watch a movie together.
Maybe, but this is but he was he's Coppola in this.
Yeah,
and he's one of the best in the whole show. But
I'm very intrigued by the show,
dude. The show is so good, and it's got like 46% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
To quote Pacino, morons.
Wow. All right.
I mean, it is
fire up an episode.
It's so good. People are like, well, it's meandering and it's slow at points, and then there's a lot of different stories going on. Yeah, there's a lot of different stories going on.
Making a movie is hard.
Do you know the story behind this thing?
No, I don't want to know it until I watch the show.
You don't want to know anything about it at all? Oh, all right. Because I
think I speak for a lot of your subscribers.
Well, but it's a true story.
Great. They can click on the Google link if
but
they
do.
want to.
I mean, they play into the fact of how the mob was involved in the town. Like a lot of
I do know that. Yeah.
At first, the mob didn't want them to have anything to do with it, and the Paramount was negotiating with the mob. It's a crazy story.
That's pretty great.
It's a crazy story, and the idea of how it got made in the first place, how they didn't want Pacino at all, and Justin Chambers, by the way, who was like Grey's Anatomy, right, actor. They get him to play Brando, right, and I'm like, come on, really? Kills it.
Wow.
Like there's one scene where you just see him as Brando, like dressed up as Don Corleone, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, because Brando was still relatively young.
Yeah.
When he made the movie.
Yeah.
They aged him up.
He was revered obviously for what he had done, but he wasn't hot at the time.
No,
Coppola was in director's jail.
Different era.
Yeah, the story of The Godfather, where it was, and Paramount
he's doing it anyway.
I know.
I asked him not to do it.
I know. I'm sorry, but Paramount was struggling, and they didn't, and Bob Evans, Matthew Good. This is someone I wasn't, but this was someone that I wasn't on board with. Was Matthew Good? Remember when we saw Watchmen back in the day?
Yes.
And I did not like him.
No.
He plays Bob Evans. Holy crap, he's so good. He's so good. I love this show, dude. Sadie and I are blasted through this.
I can't wait to see it. Don't tell me anything. Okay, but this one part.
I didn't tell you about the part. I just told you about the...
in the Southeast, there's a chain of restaurants called Bob Evans.
Is it really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same guy or not. But this is also a kudos to you. Yeah. You on this channel, very proud of you, because you are on the verge of doing something very rare in the world of YouTube and in the world of music. You're about to become an Ozzy Osbourne, a Paul McCartney, where you get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, and you have one of those like 100,000 subscriber things from Schmoes.
Oh, right.
And you're on the verge. We got to get some more clicks.
Yeah.
But you're on the verge of getting another one of those things.
Maybe.
You could have. But you could be in the Beatles and in Wings.
We're looking about a year from now. Because we're at 43,000 right now.
I don't know.
It took us a while to get to 43 on Schmoes.
You keep paying me top dollar to show up.
It's true.
Them subs are coming in.
Okay, by that, some athletic greens with the gum on it. That's what you should get.
Needed somewhere to put my gum. I enjoy athletic greens.
We got some questions that came in. A lot of good ones.
Mark, what did you think about the PGA Championship?
There are some ones that are specifically tailored to you that I am going to have no information on. Sal Scicali. No way I said that right.
Skolicki. It's like Christopher Skolicki.
I guess so. Who would you want to see join Peacemaker Season 2? I think Deathstroke would be an awesome fit. We need Joe Manganiello back ASAP.
Oh, I'll co-sign that one, Sal.
Yeah, man. First of all, we haven't really talked too much about Peacemaker. What a great show that was.
Great show.
Yeah.
So much fun. I love programs, stories where you can tell how much fun they had making it.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like, as I follow a few of them on the Instagrams, and I got the chance to talk to them when the show was coming out. And you just see how enjoyable they find each other. And the great story about that is Chuck on the show. Murph.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of running the ship.
He's in Guardians.
He's in Guardians.
Yeah.
He found out that James Gunn had cast him in Guardians because they were shooting the intro, that dance sequence that everybody loves. They're shooting in a high school gym, and James Gunn pulls him aside, and he thinks that he's just going to like look at dailies, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I think I want you for Guardians 3." And that's how that works.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, he's really good in that show. He's really good.
Yeah.
That
I'll
shows-
take Deathstroke in season 2.
Yeah, I mean, if they can use that character somehow, and I think Joe's got that kind of humor that
He can be funny.
Yeah, he can make that work. So that would be great to have him in there. I don't care as long as they get our Vigilante back, man. Vigilante is my favorite. Vigilante was Freddie Stroma crushed it.
Eagly's pretty great.
Eagly's
The
great.
scene in the first episode where, like, you know, Peacemaker and his dad hate each other.
Yes.
And they're sitting down and they're eating his dad's chili or whatever, and they start laughing on different levels about the same thing, and they're having that laugh, and Eagly is just like trying to
You love Eagly.
he just
Yeah.
and he's laughing with them.
That's perfect for you.
Oh, it kills me. Yeah.
Eagly's great. So I don't know who else to add. I don't know enough about who could add who. I mean, they mentioned Kite Man a bunch of different times.
They do. They have some fun with that.
So I don't. I mean, and it would be the problem with. Well, would Batman ever show up? Which version at this point? Like, is it Pattinson? Is it Bale?
I'm not out on Batman permanently, but I'm just
over it. Just too many of them.
we just get gloomier and gloomier. It was already.
Did you not like the last one?
I liked it, but it's like we already in 1966 we had the storyline of this poor kid watch his parents get murdered.
Right.
And somehow, for the last 60 years, it's gotten even darker and even darker. And it's like, at some point, can somebody slip on a banana peel?
Well, I mean, watch Batman and Robin. You'll get that.
Okay, that is.
I mean,
that's the other end of that.
That's
There's
the
a
total
middle
of it.
ground, honey.
Well, yeah, and it's called Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight.
Which is why Batman Begins is still my favorite comic book movie of all time.
I'll tell you what, I rewatched Batman Begins for our rewatch leading up to it. It's hard to argue with you.
Thank you.
I still have The Dark Knight as my number one out of all the Batman films. But
did you love the new one?
No, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's a well-made film.
Yeah.
And you know, and I don't need like a pie in the face in that necessarily in that movie. It's not what I'm getting at. But
no, I know what you mean.
It's
the same with Sadie
it's
Bell
one of
Dunn.
those ones like, for instance, sometimes you leave a movie and you're like, I can't wait to go see that again, or I'm raving about this, or it made me feel. Batman's not supposed to make you feel good.
Right.
And so I left the theater thinking like, I need a shower.
Yeah.
And I need a vacation.
They paint the dirty Gotham.
I wanna hug the dog.
Yeah, they paint it very well. My only issue with it was similar to a lot of the people. I just thought it was a little long.
It was a little beefy.
But I did like the Fincher kind of approach that Matt Reeves took with it. I didn't mind the darkness of it. I thought it actually plays really well for Batman, but I just had a couple issues. It's long. It's a really long movie.
I'll take Zoe as Catwoman. Give me that. Give me that spinoff.
She was great.
I want to see where she went at the end of the movie.
I'm excited about this Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah.
They're doing that on HBO Max.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like a gangster film. I mean, come on. Yeah. All right, let's get to some more questions here. All right, here it is. All right, this is Concord 327. Today I learned that Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ewan McGregor are married.
They're both lucky.
I didn't know that. It's like my woman actor crush, and let's face it, male actor crush are together. And she's going to be in a Star Wars project. I don't remember where I saw it. I think the article was from IGN. It's not IGN. It was Vanity Fair, if I'm not mistaken. Well, maybe IGN was quoting that Vanity Fair.
What's your question, Concord?
I think he's just the fact. Did you know it?
I know.
Did you know it?
I might have known it and forgot it, but
I had no idea.
They seem like genuinely solid human beings. So
Yeah.
good for them.
Well, so the way that came about on Vanity Fair, they were interviewing him about Kenobi, obviously, and he talked about her and how they were together. But that I guess that was known by a lot of people, which I did not know. But the biggest thing that he spoiled was that he confirmed that she was in Ahsoka.
Oh,
in this
really?
article.
Okay.
So yes, they confirmed.
Wasn't there already news that she was cast in a Star Wars
rumor
and just rumor?
He just confirmed.
Yeah. Now look, in Ewan McGregor's defense, if I'm married to Mary Elizabeth Winstead, it doesn't matter what the interviewer is asking me. They're like, Mark, tell us about your new stand-up special. Well, did you know I'm married to Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Exactly.
Anyway, it's got an hour of jokes. But again, back to who I'm married to.
100%.
Let's focus on that.
Yeah, and so no, I didn't know it. I had no clue, but good for them. I also don't pay attention to that stuff. Like, there's tons of people who are married, celebrities. And I'm like, oh, they're married. Oh, they got the. I don't pay. Like, the only time I ever find out about any of it is when I'm taking a piss.
When they
and
get divorced.
True, but I'm taking a right, and if it's a public trial, and I'm looking, and I'm taking a piss, and my wife leaves those U.S. weeklies, whatever the hell they are, the Us weeklies,
just Us weeklies,
whatever. Who cares? And I'm looking,
celebrities.
Yeah, and I'm looking over the side, and I'm like, oh, so and so's got divorced. I didn't even know they're together.
I mean, as soon as the term marriage comes up, my eyes kind of glaze over. Yeah. Unless I am lucky enough to be the officiant at the wedding.
Which you might be doing it again, from what I got confirmation.
Word on the street?
Yeah, confirmation of very much interested.
You know, you book one gig with some celebrities involved, and next thing you know, you got a new career.
All right, so Chris Rasnake. No way. What? Here you go. Sure. What week into the 2022 NFL season will Sam Howell start for the Commies over Carson Wentz?
It's a great question, Chris, but you're forgetting one crucial piece of that equation, and that would be Taylor Heineke, a guy who's so scrappy and he's just got that great quarterback mentality you want. You know, he doesn't have all the physical tools of that A-plus quarterback, but he just finds a way to get the job done more often than not. So I'm rooting for Carson Wentz. I'm rooting for my team. I'm always optimistic. My prediction is that Carson Wentz, whether it's an injury or ineffectiveness or COVID, because the guy he's not vaccinated, Taylor Heineke is going to start by week 4. Is my opinion. Now, if Sam Howell somehow beats out Taylor Heineke for the backup job, the backup quarterback is going to be starting week 4. Is my prediction.
Well, my prediction is that you guys should be catching up on your athletic greens.
I would like all of my quarterbacks in the commander's room to do that.
Have you been doing this yet, this athletic greens?
Every day, baby.
Okay. So
you know me.
Well, you need to take some with you if you don't have some right there.
I already put some in my pocket
sure you did.
before I was given permission.
People have been testing it out, and I just got it, and I pinned a comment to last week's big thing. I think it was the rewatch, and the guy was like, you know what, I tried athletic greens, and I wanted to check it out because you keep talking about it. And he said his energy's up. He's feeling good. He said, at first I wasn't sure about the taste, but I love it. So it's great. I've been taking it. You do get a lot of energy. I wasn't sure about it at first, but it was Sheridan who kept telling me, do it. You'll love it. And I did. And I've been using it every day. And it helps. It's the gut health. It's more energy. It's optimized immune system. I've been doing it for a while. I really, really like it, and it's got like a fruity taste. It looks like vegetable juice. But
you do it in the morning?
Yeah,
I do it on the way to the gym.
Do you? Yeah, and it works. And you just take one delicious scoop of athletic greens, and you get 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, probiotics, the whole thing, and it starts your day right. So for me, I just get that extra kick, and it does really help. As Mark said, I just wake up in the morning. I take one of my plastic bottles, and I just put some stuff in it, shake it up, water bottle, that's it, done. So I told all my friends and families about it. They love it. And it contains less than 1 gram of sugar. There's no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, nothing artificial, and it tastes good. The good news is that it supports mental clarity and alertness, and it costs you less than $3 a day. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. So give it a shot. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. It's recommended by professional athletes. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. You get 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's all you got to do. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. So to make it easy for you, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. But you have to go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing, athleticgreens.com/bigthing, and take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So do that, because when you go there, not only are you supporting yourself and helping yourself and making yourself feel good, you're supporting the show. You support this entire channel when you go and you check it out. And when you do, be like that other dude who just got it the other day and loved it. Let me know what you're thinking about it once you try it. So
me, I told you.
You did.
You know.
The link's in the description.
Don't bury the lead here.
I'm sorry, buddy. All right.
It's amazing how we used to we used to eat like garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to be friends before we hated each other. That's my favorite thing on the internet.
Do people do that? Do people say that?
Yeah, well, like if we take a picture together, like see a movie, it's like, oh, I'm glad you guys are back in the same room. It's like
hanging out again. It's and I'm like, we've seen each other like for the last 3 years. I'm like, well, what's Mark up to? We've been doing Schmoes Down every week together for the last
sometimes daily, like back in the height of the pandemic. It's it's Wednesday. We got 2 more matches.
Every day we were doing it. But my favorite was the other day, and you actually responded to it. So there's a few different times on our Top Gun out of the theater reaction one that we did. You guys are lying. This movie doesn't come out yet.
That was epic.
There's a few people who said, and I was okay with them asking the question. There were some newer viewers who were like, who didn't know, and were like, how'd you see this already if it's not out? And I was like, oh, we've just been going to press screenings for a while. So but this guy in Florida.
If you come in with attitude and you come in like a know-it-all, mansplaining, if you will.
It's hilarious.
Then no, you don't get any sympathy from me, which is why I referred to him as the Top Gun of stupid.
It was so stupid. Like this guy was like, yeah, nice try. You didn't see it. And I'm like, I wrote, haha, you're being dumb, right? Or you're messing around, right? He's like, no. I had this whole conversation. I go, this is hilarious. I have to post this on Twitter.
Oh, that's great.
And then what I screenshot it and I posted it. And what I realized is after I wrote, dude, we've been going to these screenings for a long time. I don't know if he did his research, but he deleted his whole comment.
Well, of course he did.
And I was like,
but it's the thing. It's like if you just stop for 5 seconds and you think about the world, you know how movies, when they're coming out that week, they have a commercial and it says critics are saying this.
Right.
Are they all lying?
But I don't know. Maybe he just thought because we were coming out of it, maybe he didn't think we were reviewing.
McFly.
It was. Think. I was laughing on that one. I thought it was pretty funny.
High comedy.
All right. Let's get some more questiones.
Thank you for caring about my needs, Chris.
That's right. Lee Mann, how excited are you guys for She-Hulk? He's got the 2 crying emojis because just so you know, because I saw you dug the trailer.
I really like the trailer. Yeah.
So the trailer wasn't for me overall. I love Tatiana Maslany.
Can we talk about the CGI later?
Yes.
I just want to talk about the actual trailer because I watched it on my phone.
Yeah.
I didn't have a big issue with the CGI.
Okay.
The tone of the show I found very refreshing.
Right. So that's the thing. I didn't. So okay. It has nothing. Just the stupidity of people saying it's the MCU and all that. That's stupid. It's like She-Hulk's been around for a long time. It's a very popular comic book. It's
one character.
And Tatiana Maslany is a superstar. And like
she's great.
If you can lock her into a role, you give it to her. This show is going to do very well with people. It just didn't land for me.
Well,
right? The problem was, as you asked, like when I saw the trailer itself, I liked Hawkeye the least out of all the series.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that it's because
I thought that would be up. Well, you like all that time warp.
I like the time warp stuff, and I like the more. They're really going heavy with the humor for me in a lot of these things, right? And like Moon Knight, I liked a lot. Moon Knight's probably like my second or third favorite.
You no longer have your sense of humor.
Probably.
You don't enjoy nonsense.
No, I'm dead inside, Mark. But there's just I don't know. It's like the over, and I miss Rage Hulk. I think that's the thing. I miss Rage Hulk, and like if it was, I like the idea of her being, because from what everyone says, like in the comic book, she was more the comedic character or the one who's more so like the Professor Hulk that we see. But now Professor Hulk is all over the place now, and it's like, let's get that juxtaposition of her like that, and get him back to Rage Hulk, because that's the Hulk that I always wanted.
I understand that desire to see like just somebody just go full on berserker, but what this show brought to me is, as great as a character like Black Widow has been, and I think it's why it was so refreshing to see the way that Black Widow worked with Florence Pugh. I can't remember her name in the movie, but she was so good because she was funny. But you also got like an actual female perspective, not just a female character, but an actual perspective as to where they're coming from. And so the scenes that we see in the trailer where she's just trying to date, or she's just trying to do a job, she's trying to make her stamp in the world. I loved seeing that from her perspective.
It's like Marvel's for less. It's less raunchy Sex in the City.
Yeah, I think that is so cool to see, as opposed to just another run-of-the-mill origin story where somebody gets their powers and they can't control it, and then
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair.
And the dynamic with her and her cousin, it's like we get Mark Ruffalo on the show too. Like, I cannot wait to see that interplay.
But that's why.
So it was a good teaser for me,
and I get it, and that's why. But it drives me nuts when people they're getting so mad about it. It's like, look, I'm not like, for me, you just say you don't like it and you move on. It's like to go into this whole thing of why the Marvel's trying to do this political stuff and do that, and it's like, give it a rest. It's like you're and on the other side of that, you're allowed to not like it. Like if I look at it and I go and like I said, I think Tatiana Maslany, I'm gonna still watch it because I love her. I think she's incredible. It doesn't mean if I don't like it, that I hate women. It doesn't mean that that I don't want a woman-led show. Of course I want this show to succeed. I want this show to be great. The tone, it doesn't work for me so far. But maybe when I'm watching, it's also a 3-minute trailer. I could watch an episode and go, you know what? They made that work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance there is rage in there somewhere. There's a chance that there is just
100%.
Uncontrollable and
more dramatic at signs, like and a balance.
I just want to see them take ownership of this story and not just furiously try to work this into the rest of the MCU.
I agree.
I want this to be able to breathe its own air for a while, that's the feeling that I got from the trailer. And then you look at the CGI debate that everybody's having. What I hope the template set by Sonic the Hedgehog is that everybody freaked out when they saw Sonic's teeth in the trailer. And they went back and they fixed his teeth, and you didn't worry about it anymore when the movie came out, and it ended up having a very successful run. So what a lot of the scientists on Twitter are saying is that, well, this trailer was cut before they were able to finalize the CGI, which I understand Marvel's got a schedule, and they're like, we got to get this trailer out today.
Wait.
Not a good move on their part. You really did not do your show a service. You didn't do Tatiana Maslany a service.
Because that's all anyone's talking about.
Yeah, you didn't do the character of She-Hulk itself a service. So now you have this bar that you got to get over, like Sonic did, like the Ghostbusters 2016 did. You unfairly put this show in a hole right out of the gate, and you opened up the door for people to start bitching about the CGI, which is fair, and then they're going to start to poke holes in everything else with the show, and that is on Disney. That's on them doing that.
100%.
Having said that, again, we all did end up going to see Sonic, and it had a very successful run. So I hope that everybody can get over their phobia of less than perfect CGI and just come into the show with an open mind.
Give it a shot.
Because that's what I got from the trailer.
But like I said, I think that it does depend on if that tone is for you. Mm-hmm. If that tone is for you and you didn't like the CGI, then I agree with you 100%. And go into exactly what you're saying. Take it easy, wait, because it probably isn't ready yet. What they shouldn't have done was, I think, Chapek, whatever the hell his name is, Chapek, he probably said, dude, did they keep talking about it? They said there's problems on the set. Show them a trailer. And I thought, you don't need to show them a trailer because you got Ms. Marvel coming out first. We've seen the trailer for it. That show doesn't come out until August.
Right.
Wait and take a month. A month to fix a trailer up, and then you can do it, right? Silly to, unless that's the actual CGI, then that's a problem. But
again, I saw it on my phone. I didn't hate it. So if I was the person greenlighting it and I just watched it on my phone, I'd be like, yeah, it's ready to go. Put it out there.
It's tough because there was just some moments that it looked very like Fiona from Shrek. Like at points, so it was like I don't know.
It's a green character.
I know, but I'm hoping. Look, I'm hoping for the best because I love Ruffalo. Love her. Really hope that it works out. I hope it's a good blend of what you're talking about and a mix of some drama with the character too. I don't want it to be a straight up comedy.
I just love the science behind, when at least when the Incredible Hulk goes crazy is when his heart rate gets above a certain thing.
Yeah.
We've been inundated with great courtroom dramas. You think about Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men at the end. If he had this special ability, he would have hulked out by the end at Colonel Jessup. I want the truth. His heart rate is spiking, baby.
Yeah.
I want to see like a heated courtroom debate, and then what happens next.
Well, what also is going to happen next is that Daredevil's probably going to show up. Now that you have this new report that Daredevil is going to be a Disney Plus show. So you probably show her. Jessica Jones is rumored to come in. So they're going to start to add some stuff inside of the Marvel thing that you're talking about. They are going to add new characters, I'm sure, but you mentioned something that I have to give a spoiler to that for if anybody cares, for Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Okay.
All right.
I will accept that you're going to ruin this movie for me.
You might not.
I'll be fine.
So
I hear it's very good.
This is a spoiler for people out there. So if you don't want to hear spoilers on Chip and Dale and you're going to watch it, then I'll put it in the time code. You go to the next thing.
If he starts talking about The Offer again,
no, I won't.
I'm leaving.
I won't. But I will say, because you mentioned Sonic, dude, they have bad ugly Sonic, they call him Bad Teeth Sonic in the movie.
That's so funny.
It's Roger Rabbit, this movie.
Funny. This
movie is Roger Rabbit, and it plays off of all the the animated things and like bad. You remember how like the really bad like Polar Express CGI, like Seth Rogen plays like this Viking that's like straight out of like Beowulf or something too, and the movement of him is so bad.
That's funny.
The show is the movie.
I saw you raving about it
really
on
funny.
Twitter, and I was just, and I still, I guess, have this, like, I immediately, if I see you talking about anything that is Chipmunk or Squirrel related,
it's Chipmunks.
I go right back to Chipwrecked, or the one that I was like playing a basketball game or something, so I couldn't review the movie with you.
Terrible movie.
And you had just such a bad time.
Yeah,
so I'm like, how did Christian like? Then I'm like, oh, right. This is Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. It's a
But it's
whole different thing.
But it's Andy Samberg and Mulaney bringing their humor to this. But there's so much. It's like Wreck-It Ralph, Roger Rabbit. It's got a Roger Rabbit thing because they do like detective thing. I couldn't believe how much I like this movie. I couldn't believe it.
I'm going to ask him for a spoiler, and y'all can earmuffs if you want. Do we get to see Launchpad McQuack?
Which one is that? I don't know.
The duck pilot from DuckTales.
I don't think so, but you do see Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, no, wait, was Launchpad? I think Launchpad. I do want to see Scrooge, but Baloo the bear maybe was.
Baloo shows up.
He was the pilot in that.
Well, Baloo shows up, but like they, but in a different, but it's Baloo. Again, this is spoilers for the movie. Tough. You can, like I said, you got to retitle this vid. You could have skipped. You could have skipped. The time code's in there. But Baloo, they not only did Baloo from the Jungle Book, the live action one, which is great, and then. So Chip gets or is it Dale? Dale gets surgery to give himself the CGI treatment. So he's more like Chip is the old school animated version, and he had the surgery, so he looks like the computer. So it's really funny, man. It's really funny.
You know what? I'm seeing at least half the family, maybe the full family this summer.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on for the Tykes.
I'm gonna watch it with the kids again. I probably already watched it this weekend with the kids because we'll be watching it for sure.
We're all very proud of you.
Thank you.
But here's the thing: he ain't watching it with his family. He's gonna be out here in the shed. And he's going to be listening to Sylvester Stallone sing songs from 1982, watching Rescue Rangers by himself.
I don't even know where it went. Oh, I'm so upset.
Your poor wife telling the kids, like, no, Daddy's working hard. You're out here getting high watching
Rescue Rangers. But I couldn't believe how I'm telling you, I put it on because I'm like, you know what, I'm going to review something. They sent me this link. I'll take a look because I got invited to the premiere.
I remember. I saw it. And
my daughter couldn't go to it, so I'm like, I'm not going to the premiere. I'm going to drive over. And then they sent a link. I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. I like Andy and I like John Mulaney, so I'll check it out. And I just turned my phone off. I'm like, this is enjoyable. I was like, it felt good watching. I laughed, and J.K. Simmons is hilarious.
He always is
really good. Anyway,
always is.
So for people, check that out. It's I think it's on Disney Plus now.
Yeah. So we hope that answers your question, Lee.
Yeah, that's right. Richard J. In the finale to Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange casts a spell to make everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. What impact will this spell have in other Spider-Man universes? Will Tobey Maguire be swinging from his chandelier while Kristen Dunst looks up in sheer horror? Do you think Sony would use this arc as a jumping-off point in any potential new Spider-Man films with Tobey, Andrew, or Tom? I don't know if that carries over to every universe. This is where it exhausts you, huh? Yeah. I don't think it carries over to the universe.
So much work.
So much. Did you like the Doctor Strange? Yeah,
it was an enjoyable romp for the most part.
Yeah.
I felt no stakes.
Yeah, me too.
I understand that like America Chavez's special ability is being able to hop multiverses. I just hate that is a character with such potential, and we couldn't even meet her in this universe. We had to create a multiverse to get her into this one.
Well, she doesn't remember. That was the thing. But that was the thing with her. She doesn't have. I
get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But no, I mean, I don't think that Doctor Strange casting a spell, like if this is Earth 300 and I cast a spell on you, I don't think that affects Harloff and Ellis on Earth 500.
No, it'll work here. It would. Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect Tobey. I think that becomes too tricky if you do it that way. Yeah. So no, probably not.
I do kind of love the very subtle Last Jedi-ing to the fans that the Illuminati sequence did.
Which one?
In Doctor Strange 2. Because basically there's some really fun appearances.
Yeah.
And then 3 minutes later.
Oh, right.
Loved it.
I know what you're saying.
That was the Luke throwing away the lightsaber moment where everybody just relaxed and let us tell a story.
You got 2 Last Jedi references, no more. All right.
Great movie.
Pass.
Luke meditated too hard.
Wait, is that the one? Or is it? Oh, see? Got all these different ones here. None of them.
You're literally speeding through all the ones that I want to answer.
I know. We did that one. See, I lost it.
Do rapid fire.
There it is. Brian Kalmus. I love Dog Stepfather.
Okay, I'll answer this one.
What was the response to it, and how did it perform overall? Any chance of getting a follow-up special soon? All right, Mark, you got to answer me a question.
Great question,
What is
Brian.
Dog Stepfather? No, I'm just kidding.
First of all, my wife, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That's how you answer every question.
Tell us.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Dog Stepfather, available on Amazon Prime, and you can watch it for free on YouTube. New special. I'm hoping to get it on tape later this very year.
Where are you going to record it?
Not sure yet. In talks with some folks, and the real question is like when are you comfortable with your hour? And I had a couple breakthroughs recently that I think we're pretty much there.
Okay,
so very excited about it.
Well, thank you.
Now you just got to get it on tape and get it out as quickly as possible so that it's still relevant.
Well, thank you for your question. All right, here's James Mason Albrecht. What's your favorite 80s song or album?
Jeez.
So, that's a tough one for you.
I'm going to look at this question through a different prism, though.
So you can't answer any Van Halen?
No, you can, but I'm going to look at this not as any song released in the 1980s. I'm going to look at this as the most 80s style song.
Yeah. You know what the first album that came into mind?
Purple Rain.
No, not for me. Beastie Boys.
Okay, that's a good one.
That was the first one that came in mind. I remember how that one hit. And how significantly different for their career what it was from when they hit. Mm-hmm. And did you ever watch the documentary on Apple about them?
Yes. Yeah, it was good.
Like to see they hated that album after a while because they hated playing it,
right?
Doing all those songs. It wasn't challenging to them as artists anymore. But like that album was, and still a great album.
Yeah,
it's like so because a lot of stuff from that era, 80s, whether it's rock, hip hop, whatever, it doesn't hold up.
Mm-hmm.
It holds up in its own. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, we listened to Milli Vanilli the other day, and we were listening to Milli Vanilli in the house. And the kids were listening to some stuff.
Kids are like that,
Kids were listening to it. I was getting a kick out of it, blaming it on the rain.
Sometimes you just got to blame it on the rain.
The little Bengals going on in the house. There's a lot of 80s music that
Girl,
plays in this house.
It's girl, you know, it's
girl,
you know.
The beginning.
That was the song they were doing when the CD skipped.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
okay.
You can see footage in the behind the music of Milli Vanilli. They're on stage. It's girl, you know, it's girl, you know, it's girl. And they're just like, one of them runs off stage, and then the other one is just like, well, it was a good run.
Yeah, it's true. Like the opening skit of that song is the best. Girl, you know it's true. It's so bad. But anyway, the Beastie Boys, though, it just holds up, man.
I'm going to say
Boutique.
The one. Again, I think a lot of this stuff is all time,
Yeah.
The first one that I think of, just because of everything that it was used for the right and wrong purposes in the 1980s, was Springsteen's Born in the USA.
It's a great one.
Iconic cover. The song itself, what does it actually mean? Mm-hmm. Should Reagan be talking about this song in the context that he is?
Right.
And every cut on that album is a masterpiece to me. You can feel the 80s influence on it. And Springsteen has gone back and said that maybe he was a little too poppy with it. I don't think so. I think it's perfect.
Oh, it's a good one to put in the. He's got a lot of other ones that are not that add.
Go put on The River. Go put on Nebraska.
Right. So to add one of those that is. I love that album. It's a great album.
Yeah, but Purple Rain is way up there as far as like iconic 80s albums I think of.
There's a lot of Floyd albums back then too that work really well too.
I would go to the 70s. For Pink Floyd.
When was The Wall? Was it 78?
Wall was 76.
You sure?
7, 8, something like that.
Wall is so good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good ones. Stones had a lot of good ones in the 80s.
They had Tattoo You, which the video is about the most 80s because it's Mick doing aerobics.
My favorite, just made me think about it tonight. I had to have watched this with you, but when they took the sound out of Dancing in the Street with Jagger, and it's the best. Fall down funny. It's so funny.
You can do so much with that. I'm looking up The Wall now. It's bothering me. You can do so much with that video because Sometimes Family Guy just likes to mess with its viewers.
Yeah.
And Family Guy, the plot of that episode is going on, and Peter sits down and he literally just watches the whole the whole music video.
The one we're talking about?
Yeah.
With no sound in it?
Not with no sound, with sound. But then Peter looks in the camera and he's like, we all let this happen.
Yeah.
It's so good. Underrated cover of Dancing in the Streets is Van Halen's from Diver Down. Okay. I'll also put Huey Lewis in the News' Power of Love as far as the most 80s. The Top Gun soundtrack is way up there.
There's Footloose. There's tons.
Footloose is a very good. Anything Kenny Loggins, you know.
A lot of great stuff. Okay, let's get to the next one. John Crumb. Crumb laughs at you. Hey guys, longtime fan. What are your favorite moments? Some of your favorite moments from the Schmoes Know movie show. For me, the trial of JTE was an all-time great. Also, Willie the Bull. Willie the Bull was great too.
Willie the Bull killed me.
Yeah, it was great.
It's really watching Ken do the news was always just so much fun because you and I would open the show and we'd kind of set the table for everything, and then we just kind of get to take a break, and it would just bring such positive vibes in there. And first of all, The Wall came out November 30th, 1979. So I think we're both right.
I was close, yeah.
But as far as my favorite all-time bit.
Well, he said
have
moments.
one that
he said
just-
moments, and I think moment for me is Mark Hamill.
Skits.
No, he didn't say. He said moments.
He said comedy skits.
No, he did not. He said, "What are your favorite memories from the Schmoes Know movies?"
I can read.
I would say the
Mark Hamill interview.
Yeah, because the way that you and I were. It's like when the LeBron interview was happening in general, when he was announcing where he was going, everybody was talking about it. That's how you and I were prepping for this. And then when we had Andy Serkis on also, but Mark Hamill was
that one was special.
Yeah, that was special, and
because we were still pretty new into we knew that he was confirmed to be in the new Star Wars movie. This was the beginning of 2015, so he's promoting The Kingsman, which came out in February that year.
Right, he wasn't talking Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's not what he was on. He was on to talk to, but then he did the Joker bit for us that
was huge, and that played on every show.
Yeah, and he didn't
thereafter.
do that for people. He didn't do. He wouldn't do. And we asked him to do it, and he did it for us. And he did off the top of his head, just came up with that bit, which was awesome. And that was also the first time we called Mance Cocaine Donkey right afterwards.
Oh, right. Well, that was sort of like the nice tag, like a post-credit scene, is Mance running in and high-fiving us, because he's the one that sort of brokered that interview.
Yeah.
But I remember Hamill also said that, like, I think in the interview he says, like, yeah, I checked out y'all's site.
Yes.
And it's like, what? And that is the reason why when I, bumped into him on the red carpet of Force Awakens, he knew who I was.
Right.
And
which is awesome.
it was just, it's like, I can die now.
My people asked me this recently, and like do you have a favorite? And it probably plays into it because there are a lot of moments for me. Do you have a favorite phase? Do you remember of the Schmoes?
You're much better at the phases than I am.
I'll give you the phases as far as breakdown. And you tell me. Phase 1 was just me, you, and Cheese. And doing the stuff.
And what would become your daughter's bedroom?
Yes. For the first 10 or 11 episodes. Phase 2 was when Katie, what was her name from Corolla's show that came on to produce?
Oh, right. Katie. Yeah, Katie.
Katie came on to produce, and then it was still strictly podcast form that we did, and we recorded a bunch of episodes from the Bachelor studio. We had a lot. We had that's the first time we ever had Sam Levine on. We had Jeremy Johns on a bunch of times.
Right.
We had a bunch of people that came on. And then Phase 3 was Toad Hop. Phase 4 was when we did it from Drama 3-4 when we had no place to go. We were like Richard Gere in Officer and Gentleman. We had nowhere to go, and then Phase 5 was the first. It was AfterBuzz when we started there, and that's where Schmoedown was born. That's where all that stuff was born. Phase 6 was then Collider, and that was the end of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I really appreciated a lot of what we got to do with just the space at Collider, and just kind of like meshing that gradually into Schmoedown and finding the tone there. We got to have a lot of fun just with the space, because we had 2 different sets that you could do the celebrity impression dating game in a different way. But I mean, just as far as the energy and just rolling up to the studio and just feeling like that ragtag group of Bad News Bears that's going to try to cobble together some sort of program.
5 for you?
It'd probably be 3.
Me too.
Yeah,
Phase 3 was my favorite as well, but cause it had the most radio feel out of it, out of the side of what we wanted to do. I mean, the cameras were probably the worst out of the.
To me, that was part of the charm.
Yeah,
because you'd have Makuga standing right behind me.
Yeah,
either tweeting or getting scared.
It felt more that kind of zoo thing that we wanted to do with and that's when we had Sean Astin come in, and Katie was the co-host for a while on that show. Katie Sackhoff, that is. And then and that's where we met Tiff, and Tiffany kind of came in and became the co-host of that. But we had a lot of great episodes from the trivias where Finstock debuted and all that, the stuff that we were able to do. 5, because of Schmoedown and everything, was great. 6, the problem with 6 was that everybody was just too tired. Because we were working.
I would put you at the head of that, though. Because you were juggling a lot. And so I was hosting. I mean, pretty much maybe half the shows.
I took off 5 months.
I might have hosted. Yeah. And so I had a good time just doing a different sort of service for the show. It was obviously much easier and better when you were there, but I had fun. We got to introduce some new personalities to the world through it. Yeah. And so I think every phase served a purpose, even if some of those phases were hey, this is not the way we want to do it. We need to do it live.
Right.
Where you and I just had that realization, I get it. You can't, most podcasts are pre-recorded. It's just not how we feel like we're at our best.
Yeah, we in the interim between 5 and 6, we were, it's funny. I went back recently because I was doing some monitoring on the old channel, and we had done that Harloff and Ellis podcast for a couple. Remember that we were doing a few of them. And it's funny now because YouTube's so different, but we're these aren't doing as well as we wanted to. They got 20,000-30,000 views an episode. And
Sold.
we're just time at like 100,000 for Schmoes. But anyway, thank you for taking us down memory lane. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to the next one. Jacob Lagarde. How much for one of those PlayStation 5s, Mark? You want to tell people what that's all about?
It's probably going to be in the new special. Yeah, Twitter got hacked, and then it was a tough time in the world because that was when everybody was starting to feel a lot of concern over Roe v. Wade, and so there's a lot of people tweeting like, "Where are all the men now? Where all men are being awfully silent?"
Couldn't do anything.
You just scroll up the timeline. Men are silent. Men are being silent, and then here's me. Who wants a PS5?
Scamming people out of money. So for people that didn't know, Ellis had his Twitter hacked, and whoever the scumbag was that did it was like people would DM him and like he would like answer back and like try, and our fans were awesome. They were doing the they were like trying to like quiz them about like, hey, so what was your favorite phase of Schmoes?
Yeah, but then my account would block them, and so I had to like go in and manually like unblock a bunch of people.
How many did you have to unblock?
And I just let like 50 people. Oh. But you did me a solid, and Molly's mom, Danny, did me a solid because I asked both of y'all to just like put out a tweet from your account like, hey.
Did you like that headshot I put out on you?
Ellis's, what was it?
It was just one of your headshots, but people were like, oh my God, I opened it up and I was fearing for the worst. Thank God.
That's you were great. Yeah. But no, then I got back in and was able to like rectify it, but I got so many angry DMs from fans, and it was so funny to read the DMs because it started out like, hey man, this is just so cool that you're doing this, and because it said for charity. Right. And I heard from people that like the reason why they thought it wasn't a scam is because I'm just that swell of a fella.
Yeah.
No, I ain't. And you start to see the DMs turn. It's hilarious because they're like, hey, this is really cool that you're doing this. Can I get one? Just let me know how to pay you. You're a super nice guy. And then it's like, F you. I can't believe you would scam people like this. And I'm like, again, I didn't do any of this. But in a lot of those fans' corner, they did write me after I got back in and was like, hey, hack. They're like, hey, so we're cool, right? I'm like, we're cool. Yeah.
Hilarious. Yeah. All right, here's the next one here. Travis Nickerson. What is your favorite comedy club to perform in? Comedy Store doesn't count. You can't say comedy. We both can't say comedy.
Present company excluded, yeah. Then I would probably say my favorite comedy club to perform in, Denver Comedy Works. The downtown one's way up there. Acme, Minnesota is way up there, where you had a great 10-minute set in 3 minutes. And
haven't been there since
those
then.
would probably be two of my all-time favorites. I like American Comedy Company in San Diego too. And I'll actually be there Thursday of Comic-Con this year, doing my show there.
Okay, so I liked that one a lot.
I think tickets just went on sale today, actually.
I always really performed well at both La Jolla and the Improv on Melrose.
Mm-hmm. I didn't count La Jolla.
You didn't count La Jolla.
You wouldn't let me.
No, well, that's true.
I love you,
but I did like the Improv on Melrose a lot. I had really good sets there.
You know what I'm still waiting to reopen is I don't know if the Ice House is back open.
Oh yeah,
but that's a really hot
Ice House. I enjoyed also. Yeah. Ice House was a great place to work out. I remember when you have those transition parts of your comedy career where you feel you're in a standstill and then breakthrough or something happens. Yeah. Like I remember that happening at the Ice House.
Yeah, you get that spark a lot.
I remember going to the Ice House and being like, I'm just doing the same stuff and I'm bored. And then I'm like, I'm just gonna riff at the Ice House, and I found like 4 bits inside of that riff.
About the acoustics. Yeah. And Flappers is actually the main room of Flappers.
I like Flappers.
When it is packed, it's like it's a really warm crowd.
Flappers was nice, a good place to come back to. And we should. New York Comedy Club is a place that I like the rhythm of that place.
I just like it. It's just such a New York comedy.
It is
club.
The Boston Comedy Club when it was open in New York.
I've only heard the legends.
Yeah, that was a cool place too. That was the first place I ever saw or met Jeff Ross in '96. And I remember him like he was fantastic back then.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the ones.
The first comedy club you were ever in was Boston?
In New York, but I mean I started in Tallahassee.
Oh, right. Yeah, but did you do an actual comedy club, or were you just doing like the bars around?
So what they did, and that's where I met Kreischer, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing that they did, the first place I ever did was this Bar and Grill. Was the first place I ever did in Tallahassee. But then
Grill.
It was called Bar and Grill, but there was a place called the Warehouse, which had an actual stage. That it wasn't like a comedy club, but it was the most like comedy club out of all of them.
Yeah,
like it was built
Yeah.
Like you would enjoy playing it. Like
Sure,
it wasn't
yeah.
what you like. It was set for. There was nothing in there except the stage and chairs. It was my favorite place out of all of them. But everything else, like Potbellies, was the worst. That's where I met that people that nobody. It's like you might as well been doing for performing in front of in Roadhouse.
Yeah, that's hilarious because I've heard like from Doug and from my friends from my high school that went to Florida State, which I almost was one.
Yeah.
And they always talk about like these legendary nights at Potbellies.
Yeah.
Never about stand-up comedy.
No, I went there many times to
double
hang
deuce.
out, but then
Yeah.
I remember being cautious when they're like, "Hey, we're going to do this show at Potbellies." And I'm like, "Really?"
Right.
And because Bert Kreischer at the time, it was his first time ever doing stand-up, and he had all this press from Rolling Stone, the magazine that did this whole thing on him. So like
The number one party school in the nation.
they were only there to see him, and this is a college crowd. They were only there to see him. And so I remember, and at the time I was kind of like the younger, kind of more outrageous one in this troupe that we would do. So, and you're 19, 20 years old going, I'm still going to be able to get them all. They didn't give a shit about me. They wanted to see Bert. But I remember Bert tells this story like everywhere now. And I'm humbled by it every time he tells it. But at the time, I remember him like going to pound a beer and I go, I don't think you want to do that. And he goes, why? And I go, because you're just going to rely on it all the time. And he said he always kept that with him. Because my first time ever in Tallahassee, I didn't like blackout fall off the stage, but I stepped back and fell off the stage because I had been doing Jaeger. That's
great.
So, but all right, you got to get going. But
God giving you a hint.
Can we do one more and then we go?
God just fucking up the stage.
That's
like,
it.
Not for you, kid.
That's it. This is the last one. How long you guys been friends? To transition into it. Well, first of all, we're not friends.
No.
No.
Used to be.
I think so.
We're now rivals.
So that would be 2003.
Yeah.
Right? So
probably
it's 19 years?
I would probably say April or May of 2003. So
Yeah.
we met somewhere in there.
Yeah, so almost 20 years. Yeah, because you came because of Doug, who you just mentioned, came to the
We're
barbecue.
gonna have a 20th anniversary
We should have a barbecue.
at that
It's gone.
stoop.
That place is gone.
Oh right,
They
it's
knocked
gone.
that building down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knocked that building down.
Damn it. Okay, well we got to do it in the street.
We should just do a barbecue here. But
No, I wanna do it on
got
the
to bleach
street.
your hair. Would you bleach your hair on the anniversary? And we'll tape it.
If I have any hair left, I'll bleach it for
Fair
you.
enough. But that's about 20, close to 20 years. We've been friends. But
Yeah.
but we are talking about trying to do a few more reviews together. We did our out of the theater reaction, which you guys responded very well to, and we were both really happy about that. And we're
That was
doing
fun.
Yeah, we're doing the spoiler review that will be out this Saturday. So make sure for Top Gun Maverick. We talked about it. If there's movies that we see together, we'll review them together, and we do a few of these big things together. So
I ditched you at the Doctor Strange 2 premiere.
Did you?
Lucky enough to be at
Did-
because there were
Oh,
seats
yeah,
in the
that
back,
seat.
and I'm
Right,
like, well,
right,
if nobody's
right.
taking that, I'm gonna go.
Oh, I didn't mind. I don't care. It's
Yeah, but I was sitting behind a buddy of ours who is very, very tall.
So you got lucky though, by the way, because there were two guys right behind us in those seats. They wouldn't shut.
Why do you
up,
think?
dude.
This is what I tell him before when the lights go down. I'm like, by the way, as always, I'm a flight risk because
It was
what I
bad.
mean by that
It
is
was
that if I'm
bad.
not having a good time or people are talking, I'm going to tell them to shut the F up, and then I'm just going to take my business elsewhere as
I don't
far as a
blame you.
different
It
seat
was-
to sit in the theater.
It was really bad, and they were like, they're YouTube
Exit
guys.
plan.
They were to be fair, they were excited about it. They were like Uber fans, like, but they wouldn't shut up. Like, oh, is that good? That guy? Oh, is that? I don't know why I sounded like Tigger from.
That was really good. Ti double good,
Yeah.
But he like a lot of those reactors now who are movie reviewers. They're specifically geared to look for the Easter eggs.
Yeah, right.
And so
Right.
it's sort of like you're doing play by play.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so anyway, all right, look.
Don't do it at
Sorry.
the pictures.
No, that's our show. Make sure once again that you check out the Top Gun Maverick spoiler review with Ellis and I.
Go see the movie.
And definitely
It's
see the
great.
movie so you can watch the review and enjoy yourselves at the theater. But check Mark out not only at Mark Ellis Live, and make sure that if you can, where can they buy tickets and where are you?
Great
Next
great
week.
transition.
Next week.
Great toss.
Thank you.
Next week, I don't know where the hell I am next
so
week.
it's Monday, so you don't know where you're going to be?
I mean, I'm in town.
Okay, so
Be
just go to
doing
the
sets.
just go to the
But
comedy store.
I think it's July 18th, the
Where's
Thursday
that?
of Comic-Con. I'll be at American Comedy Company, 8 p.m. You never know who's going to show up on a Mark Ellis and Friends show.
All right. Well,
Possibly my wife.
that's not true. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you guys soon. Check out this channel. And if you haven't already done it, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification button, do all that. We'll see you on the flip side.